proposal to establish a gay-friendly Chicago public high school has been in the news, and late today, the plan was reportedly pulled off the table by the Chicago Board of Education. It was to have been voted on tomorrow. The school would have been called Social Justice Solidarity High, and now appears dead, at least for this year. Is the high school still needed to protect kids who are bullied because of their sexual orientation, or would it create a different kind of stigma? Joining us to talk about the proposal are Katie Hogan, a design team member for the proposed school and chair of the English department at the existing Social Justice High School, and Rick Garcia, political director of the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender rights group Equality Illinois. Welcome both to Chicago tonight. And Katie, beginning with you, obviously the first question is, what happened today?
It was a very hard day for the design team members of Social Justice Solidarity Campus. But at the end of the day, we decided as a design team that the proposal we had created was not good enough to go forward to a vote at tomorrow's board meeting. And we requested that Chicago Public Schools remove it from the vote.
And is it because you felt that the proposal as written would not have had enough support tomorrow?
We don't know. We don't know, and our decision was not based on whether or not it would have passed or not. As educators, we would only want to pass something that we believe is 100% in the interest of our kids and their learning.
And what was it about the proposal that you think maybe needs to be tweaked?
One of the amazing experiences that we've had over the course of, well, since 7 months ago is participating in community forums. And from these community forums, we've gotten feedback, input, legitimate criticism. And when we got down to it, and we tried to compromise as much as we could with our language, even changing our name, in the end, our design team could not fully agree on whether or not that this proposal should go through. And as we operate as a collective, and as every person on our design team has an equal voice, we decided to ask the board to remove it from a vote tomorrow, knowing that we'll have the opportunity to represent it next year with the input and the very legitimate criticism and concerns that people have voiced, and make it an even stronger proposal without losing time to open the school in 2010.
Rick, you've worked successfully to pass protections for the LGBT community on the city, county, and state levels. You had some concerns about this proposal. What do you think happened today?
You know, I will say this, before I say anything about that, is I think this design team did a fabulous job. And as a longtime gay activist, my heart swells that the Chicago Board of Education and these fine people on this team publicly recognized that gay kids are at risk. Some of these kids are not in school and they should be in school. And they were trying to find a solution to that terrible problem.
A solution you didn't necessarily agree with.
Exactly. I didn't. I had serious concerns because I believe that every one of our schools should be safe for our kids. If you're in Beverly or in Sauganash, in Inglewood or in Edgewater, you should, and you're a gay kid, you should be able to go to your neighborhood school and be safe. I think there needs to be systemic change of forcing administrators and teachers and staff to respect all of our kids, including gay and lesbian kids. And
was your concern that establishing a school that was specifically gay-friendly might have taken some wind out of the sails of making the system change system-wide?
I saw two problems. One is that if there is a kid who's a little bit rambunctious or something in a school, it'd be very easy for teachers or administrators to say, you belong in that high school, we can't deal with you here. That's one. And number two is that, again, all of our schools should be safe, and the teachers and administrators in all of our schools cannot tolerate anti-gay sentiment.
Katie, how about that? The fear that there would be segregation, that maybe the system would become a little less system-wide, sensitive to the issues that these young people are facing. How about it?
I think it's a very legitimate concern. I think that anybody in the gay community or not in the gay community should be concerned if students might be targeted or harassed because of who they are. However, where I disagree is on the point of policy. No administrator can send a student to another school because they simply are rambunctious. And the idea of segregating students, unfortunately, is an idea that has come out of a profound misunderstanding of the mission statement of the school.
What was the point of the school? Why did you feel, and why do you continue to feel, that a school like this is necessary?
Right. Well, I've worked in Chicago public schools for 9 years now. I've been to hospitals where students are recovering from suicide attempts. I've seen students be bullied, targeted because of their sexual orientation. I'm sure we both have. But what I do know as an educator, and I think where our disagreement might lie, is although we have a common concern for these students, how do we change the system-wide? I don't believe the answer is by making more mandates. We already have those. I really believe the answer is by creating a model school that is very intentional about anti-bullying, anti-discrimination, and anti-violence, and has the best possible teachers working in that school who have been trained to actually create that kind of environment in the classroom and outside of it. Because you can tell teachers, sure, go stop prejudice, go stop discrimination in your classrooms. But the question is how? Where do teachers go when they want to do those things? And if they can't physically go and see a model, talk to teachers who have done it, then it's a really limited mandate.
Rick, I understand that you were at a community meeting where you heard some anecdotes, some stories of what would happen to young people. One in particular, tell me about it.
The one thing that because I desperately wanted to love this idea, desperately wanted to, and I sat there and listened, and I heard an individual talk about a 14-year-old girl who was harassed, who was rebuked by a security guard at her school. Lesbian, because she's lesbian, rebuked and harassed. And then it was said, and because this girl had this experience, that's why we need this school. And I sat there and thought, what is an adult security guard rebuking a 14-year-old girl? I want to know who that security guard is, and I want to know why that security guard is still in that school. He should be out. And so by taking the gay kids, having another place for them absolves schools and the school district for making sure that it is a non-violent, non-bullying environment in every one of our schools. That's what the model should be. That's what we should work toward. And instead of setting up a school and spending lots of money and putting all kinds of things in another institution, let's set up policies. Or, hey, we already have the policies. Let's find ways to implement those policies and put people in those schools and say, you bully a kid, you are out. Simple as that. Simple as that.
Katie, your closing response.
I completely disagree. I don't think that just telling people in an abstract manner is going to change the system. I think that you need concrete examples, you need good practitioners, and in order to do that, you need a space where educators can grow, receive training, and spread that out across the system. That's what Social Justice High School has done with social justice teaching. And since we have a model that works, let's replicate it in 2010 and continue the fight. It's not over.
So your expectation is to resubmit this proposal next year?
Absolutely. We're going to resubmit it stronger. We've gotten full support from Arnie Duncan. Again, this is not the Chicago Public Schools saying we don't want this to go through. This is our design team wanting to make sure that we have the #1 proposal next year and that this school will open with a great reputation and great expectations and more community involvement than ever before.
Katie, Rick, thank you both for being here.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.